Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We are now into April. So this video, it's been a while, but we've got a Meghan only video. Sorry to disappoint you, but I sometimes feel that it might be better separating Meghan from the rest of the real royals anyway, for obvious reasons. So this video came about because I honestly thought when I read it, it was an April Fool's joke, but it's not. As per the title, Mimi is collecting yet again more awards. This is actually cringy for me. We know that she loves attention, and there's that age-old saying of someone that would just turn up to an envelope. Meghan has pretty much morphed this into Meghan will turn up for any old award, which isn't entirely true. She has received some awards where they haven't actually deemed worthy enough for her to attend herself. There was a humanitarian award, which I will start talking about shortly, but you know, she's sent a member of staff to go collect it, James Holt. Meghan will only attend the big showy ones. So this latest award, which is to be given to her by her pal, her neighbour Gloria Steinem, this will be on a stage with lots of photographs, lots of cameras. So naturally, this will be Meghan in a brand new couture ball gown. No doubt that she will have to spend hours getting ready to turn up to the event looking like she is collecting her Academy Award. Now, this is what it all boils down to. So many people are saying across social media, which I happen to agree with, Meghan never won an award for acting. Meghan was not a successful Hollywood actress, despite the story that she tries to spin, as do her PR teams or whoever she's got working for her at the time. Now, Meghan was a successful cable TV actress due to Suits, but she was never a main star. She was the side bit. She was the bit of fluff. She was the main star's girlfriend that came in for a little bit of nudity, a little bit of naughty stuff, you know, that kind of buffer that they tend to put in these shows. So Meghan was not successful enough to win awards. She only decided she wanted to become a humanitarian on paper back in 2015 when she got the first UN Women gig, which we heard all about over and over and over. I mean, unless you count, obviously, the soap dish commercial, but there's no need to bring that up again. So the first award that Meghan's got recently is to do with, yet again, her podcast, Archetypes. She has won what is known as the prestigious Gracie Award. It's so prestigious that I had to Google it. Meghan thanked the Alliance for Women in the Media Foundation, who nominated her, and explained that the success of Archetypes was down to her team, and the guests. And yes, she did do it in that order. She actually said, thank you. Yes, it is down to me, my staff, and of course the guests. Oh, I don't know. Again, it's just my jaw. I can feel the cringe. There is not an ounce of humility, is there, anywhere in her? Now, Meghan's podcast has won the award, and this I should have actually done this to joke you guys on April 1st, is being given for elevating women's voices. So all those famous women that Meghan interviewed or didn't interview or someone else interviewed and Meghan actually got a voiceover for her podcast, such as Mariah, Paris, Mindy, Issa Rae and Serena, I am now sure that they are so grateful that their voices of being multi-millionaires, famous women, all of throughout their hard work and achievements in life, are now grateful that Meghan was the one that elevated their voices. Honestly, I don't know how people can type this up and put it into magazines or the award shows themselves to say Meghan is being given this award for Archetypes for elevating other women's voices. They were more famous than her and have been for a good few decades. So let's be honest about Meghan's podcast that she's winning an award for. She had 26 people, I think it was listed at that from memory, 26 people roughly that helped produce and get the podcast into some sort of manageable, digestible segment. I don't really know what to call it because, as most of you know, I did listen to quite a lot of it and it was painful. Now, on top of this, the lady that was head of Archewell Audio basically quit, and her name was Rebecca Sananez, and she was the producer on it. She quit working for Meghan and Harry, or Archewell, and she went online on a TikTok video talking about the fact that she is sick of people like her that do all of the hard work, that do absolutely everything of getting something off the ground, and they don't even get a thanks, they don't get a mention. So given the fact that she'd only just left Archewell, it's pretty obvious when she's talking about, you know, previous employers, who it was. My little guess, my little inkling would be that Rebecca may have not been treated too kindly by the award-winning feminist, which is Meghan. Now, bearing in mind Meghan's podcast has already won the People's Choice Awards, which again was laughable, but I'm sure her fan base had something to do with the multiple voting. And I'm sure Meghan bought a few votes herself, in all honesty, because let's be honest, from a lot of the podcasts that are out there, even lesser known ones, it was a flop. It wasn't great. No matter how much money Spotify spent on fudging the figures and putting billboards up in Times Square, it was painful to listen to. The only thing that we did actually get out of it was each week we uncovered new lies. Sorry, Meghan's version of events, Meghan's truth, her truth. Meghan does not lie. She just tells it how she felt it happened. Lies that were uncovered were the fire that nearly claimed Archie's life in the housing unit, which was in South Africa. South Africa got another mention of where people were dancing in the streets when she married Prince Harry and rejoicing just the same as when Nelson Mandela was released from prison. Meghan got called out for her lies about visiting a Korean spa when she was a young teenager with her mother. Apparently that Korean spa does not let in children, for a start. She also upset quite a lot of people when she slagged off Deal or No Deal, the first show that ever actually gave her a chance at being famous, and she thanked them so nicely by calling it basically sexist, misogynistic. The way they treated the girls was appalling, which led to several former Deal or No Deal girls come forward and speak out and defend the show. So if Meghan is really going to be receiving any award for Archetypes, I think it should be called the Pinocchio Award, which she should have been awarded for quite a few different things that she has done now. But let's get on to, in between me hearing about this award that she's getting for Archetypes, she is now getting another award from her buddy Gloria Steinem. It makes sense that Meghan has been out whining and dining, the famous feminist herself. So this award is Women of Vision. Meghan is being awarded for global advocacy to empower and advocate on behalf of women and girls. What? When? Meghan? Women? Other women? Ooh, she's not a girl's girl. Where's old Meg, is she? This is the woman that was so awful to the female team that she was given, specifically some of them being the Queen staff that are now called the Sussex Survivors Club. These women and girls that worked for Meghan, trying to help her and ease her into royal family life. She traumatised them, she bullied them. They were left, even in Harry's own words, in spare. He confirmed the fact that they were lying on their desks, sobbing. So this is such a lovely woman's woman, isn't she? This is the boss that everyone could dream of. The fact that they've lost 16 members of staff already from Archewell, and that's just the prominent ones that we hear about, and most of them are, you've guessed it, women. Meghan was horrible to Catherine, bearing in mind that Meghan wanted all the sympathy when she was pregnant. Meghan the newlywed, Meghan the expectant mother, Meghan who's just given birth 25 weeks ago, Meghan that's just given birth 3 years ago. Be nice to Meghan was awful to Catherine, the Princess of Wales, when she had just given birth to Prince Louis, when she was actually being very unkind about Princess Charlotte and the bridesmaid dress fittings. Too many people have come forward to confirm that Meghan's version, her truth, is actually not the truth. And it was in fact that Catherine ended up in tears, and Charlotte was also left quite upset by her future auntie-in-law. Meghan has disrespected the Queen. We know this obviously on Netflix. I don't care if people say that she was trying to take the mickey out of herself. It was completely disrespectful. She completely trashed her sister on Oprah. She trashed everyone on Oprah, to be fair. She's ditched all of her Suits family. Yes, Meghan, another family that Meghan had. Those Suits co-stars that meant everything to Meghan, the reason why she survived being in Toronto, they weren't even invited to the evening reception of her wedding to Prince Harry. Okay, have you ever heard of anyone doing this? You have day guests, and the day guests can then be evening guests, and then you have additional evening guests. No, Meghan invited some people to show up for the cameras during the day, but they were uninvited, or rather not invited at all, to attend the evening reception. That's pretty messed up. But again, this is how Meghan likes to treat all of her families. More recently, we had another story that came out to do with Meghan, how she completely disposed of Jessica Mulroney, her bestest friend in the entire world since her last bestest friend in the entire world got basically kicked out and replaced by Jessica. Meghan completely ditched her when she could have actually come to her defence a little bit when the big fallout where there was accusations of racism and privilege that Jessica Mulroney was doing towards Sasha Exeter. Having read some of the comments that Jessica said, yeah, she was bang out of order, mean girl. But with the accusations of racism, Meghan, given the fact that she is a woman of colour, as she keeps telling us for the last few years, she could have absolutely come forward, bearing in mind she was her maid of honour at her wedding, she could have come forward and said, no, you know, obviously me being biracial, I've dealt with racism, blah, blah, blah. You know, she was wrong, but she didn't. Meghan went radio silent. She left her friend, her so-called best friend, to get absolutely kicked the crap out of across social media and didn't say a peep. All of the women that speak out and say that Meghan's so lovely, she's so sweet, she's just wonderful, they are the people that Meghan wants something from. When she doesn't want something from them again, then they are disposed of like an old pair of shoes. It is my honest opinion that Meghan is not a girl's girl. So for her to be talking about empowering and uplifting women when she has done nothing but bully her staff, traumatise young girls into quitting their jobs due to being so nasty and horrible, she shouldn't really be someone that's being elevated as to winning an award for uplifting other women when in fact she spends most of her time reportedly tearing down other women. Let's be honest, the only person that Meghan uplifts and empowers and gives a voice to is Mimi herself, Meghan. That's proved when she went to the One Young World Summit, where she was a keynote speaker, where she was given 7 minutes to address all of the young leaders from all countries all around the world and organisations. Meghan was meant to give a 7-minute speech to inspire them, something that she'd wished that she'd have known at the time when she first started out. Do you know what Mimi did? Mimi spoke about Mimi 54 times in 7 minutes. She spoke about herself 54 times in 7 minutes. Yes, I've had to repeat that twice because it's just unbelievable. I do try to be fair on my reporting when I talk about Meghan. You know, I don't tend to just lay into her for malicious reasons or just for the fun of it. But when you have stories coming out that Meghan only works an hour a week, she and Harry only work an hour a week on their charity, it shows to me that her collecting these awards is about Meghan having her starring moment, coming out on stage in a latest couture dress and all the jewellery with her hair and makeup done, like she is turning up to the Met Gala, like that she is going to the Oscars. She's finally having her moment of collecting her Academy Award. You see her with the microphone in her hand and the glamorous hair, and she just absolutely does look beautiful, Hollywood glamour. But this is the closest that Meghan's ever got to pretending that she is in Hollywood. She is using these awards to elevate and promote herself. It's got nothing to do with the charity. Meghan, even at the Intrepid Awards, for example, which was held in New York, Meghan got stitched into this dress. This dress was a monstrosity. It was not the most flattering dress on her at all. She got stitched into this dress and spent hours getting ready. Meghan probably spent longer getting ready to go to the Intrepid Awards, which was about giving awards to, you know, other people, than what she did actually working on Archewell and charitable endeavours. If Meghan was a true humanitarian and really thought about poverty and how people are affected all around the world, she wouldn't go to a Harlem school. You know, the children and the parents are on the breadline. She wouldn't go there in an £11,000 couture outfit, which, to be honest with you, it didn't look great. But she turned up, you know, and probably about £500,000 worth of jewellery. Surely, if you're going and you are emotionally invested in thinking about the poverty these children have, you don't turn up in £20,000 worth of clothes and give them 2 boxes of fruit and veg. That's what Harry and Meghan donated to that school. The school where the children are struggling, not a big donation that could go towards a gymnasium or anything to do with school trips. They gave them a box of fruit and veg. And Meghan obviously used it to promote her book, The Bench, whilst reading to the children. This, to me, is not genuine philanthropy. There are so many A-listers in the world that donate millions of pounds to charities every year. We very seldom hear about it because they choose to donate anonymously because they don't want want the recognition. They do it because they've got the money and they want to give it away. Harry and Meghan announce through the media when they've so much as given a £25 Starbucks top-up card to people because they want the recognition. I've said it before, it's like people that go and help out at soup kitchens and then do lots of pictures of them posing with people, going, look what I've done today, look what I've done today. And then they have it, oh, you're so brave, you're so kind on Facebook. It's the same thing. It's more about you getting the attention. Genuine humanitarianism and genuine philanthropy is not about you getting recognition yourself. It's about helping others. Meghan, every award that she goes to is undoing this and showing herself to be so completely shallow. As I said, it is her reliving the fact that she never got awards herself. This is her living her dream, but using charitable endeavours to do so. And shame on all these organisations are the ones that are stupid enough to go, oh, you've given us a cheque, okay, we'll give you an award. The fact that Meghan labels herself a humanitarian like it's a job description is laughable in itself as well. She did this with her Wikipedia page. When she was just about to ensnare the dumb prince, she removed the fact that she was a fashion model. Yes, the fact that was in there as well. She was a fashion model. That got deleted to put in that she was an activist and a humanitarian. She paid a PR agency to get her work with One Young World, to get her work with UN Women, because she wanted to come across on paper and in photographs and magazines all of a sudden of being a humanitarian. She only did this in 2015. So this was Meghan reinventing herself like I've done in other videos. Like her trip to Africa, it just all happens to coincide when she was ensnaring a rather gullible young man. As for her other awards, they are absolutely ridiculous. They received an award for having 2 children. That one's always bemused me because Harry and Meghan use private jets like people use Uber. They are constantly seen in an entourage of multiple vehicles, these huge big gas-guzzling vehicles. And as I said, private jets at every opportunity, yet they receive an environmental award for deciding to only have 2 children. It's a joke in itself, isn't it? It's like, no, someone must be making this up. But no, it's true. It actually happened. The NACCP award, Meghan, bearing in mind she's only just started identifying as a woman of colour since she went to South Africa, because again, Meghan reinventing Meghan, this was the market that she was going for. They were awarded that for distinguished hard work and achievements in racial and social justice. How? What did they do? They slagged off the royal family on Oprah and called them all racists. Oh, yet they got another award for that recently, didn't they? The Ripple of Hope Awards. Yes, that award was also given to them for fighting racism within the royal family. Never mind the fact that 3 years later, I mean, how many weeks ago it was, Harry said, oh no, my family aren't racist. You left that, 3 years of people running all those storylines, Harry? And you could have spoken out before. The fact that both his grandparents went to their graves with that overhanging their head and their legacy, and then Harry just dials it back, just makes me think what an absolute jerk he is. They had another humanitarian award for helping Afghan refugees because they made a substantial donation. Then they recorded themselves for Netflix meeting child refugees for, content for Netflix. So delightful. I failed to see what else they have done to help refugees and people from Afghanistan settle into their new life. They have basically jumped on board with Coalition for People, who actually did all of the groundwork, helped lots of people, and Meghan and Harry have done a donation, so then they get to say that they did it. Much like they did and they got called out for with the Vax Live, with the fact that Harry and Meghan on their Archewell statement said that they made sure that so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of jabs went out to countries, and Global Citizen actually slapped them down, said it was a collective effort. The fact that Archewell is getting all these awards is laughable in itself anyway, because at the end of the day, Archewell has only just got off its feet. It's a brand new foundation. Firstly, it looks dodgy as hell anyway, because they've got donations jumping from 1 to their 11 different companies. They set it up in Delaware so they could do tax dodges, so they wouldn't have to give such financial information of what they're actually up to with their funds. They gave out 3 million out of 13 million in 2021, and it's not quite the figures that you would expect from a couple of multi-millionaires who are receiving awards for their distinguished achievements in global humanitarianism. It's not quite the sort of figures that you'd expect to see, less than a quarter being handed out. Given the fact they spent £420,000 on legal fees alone, £325,000 on strategic support from Michelle Obama's former press secretary and also a former Hillary Clinton aide, and £69,000 on just conferences, it's easy to see that they actually spend more than they donate, which is something that I think the majority of us gathered when they set up Archewell Foundation. It's exactly what they were going to do. Meghan being labelled as one of the most powerful and influential women in the world makes my teeth hurt from cringing. She's certainly famous, that's for sure. She's more infamous than famous, I'd say. And yes, everyone might know her name, but when you say her name, most people go, ugh, eye roll. Every single time that Meghan goes up and gets one of these awards and comes on stage in a brand new dress, pearly white teeth and glamorous hair, comes out on stage and does a little self-righteous speech, she is showing herself to be the shallow person that she is doing what she does for recognition. In fact, my general opinion on Archewell is Archewell might be called a foundation. They might say it's about charitable efforts, but I think Archewell is little more than Meghan's personal own PR machine. It is about promoting Meghan. And I think that Archewell's mission statement should read like the inscription that Meghan had on her watch that she bought a few years ago. To MM from MM. Because no one loves Mimi quite like Mimi. So on that note, it's the end of the video, guys. I will be back with you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.